The moon is high, and the mansion is silent. Diana stands alone outside the heavy doors. A soft knock echoes through the hall, but there is no answer from the other side. The room is cold and completely empty. He hasn't come back yet. Where could he be at this hour? Or is he simply not coming at all? It makes sense. This isn't a real marriage. It's just a one-year deal. Maybe it's better to keep this distance. If I get too close, I might start believing that he actually loves me, just like I did in the past. That mistake ended in blood and shadows. One night was enough. The single night Aziel was conceived. But can she really survive a year of this cold silence? The quill stops moving across the parchment. In the quiet room, something shifts. A tiny, glowing hand reaches out for hers. It's a touch from a different world. Aziel, my sweet baby. She holds that memory close to her heart. The weight of it is all she has left. But memories alone won't be enough to change her fate. What is she willing to sacrifice next? The scratching of the quill is the only sound. Diana is lost in her own world, but a long shadow stretches across the floor. Heavy footsteps approach from the darkness. Herdin expected her to be asleep by now. The Duke is back, and he is much closer than she realized. Diana can barely find the words to ask. When he arrived, he leans in, his hand resting on her desk. Why so surprised? The distance between them has completely vanished, but his presence is far from comforting. What does he want at this hour? It's our wedding night. Herdin says it plainly, like it's the most natural thing in the world. Diana didn't think he would actually show, but she stayed awake, waiting for him. She tries to claim it was just politeness, that being asleep would have been rude. Herdin doesn't buy it. He sees a woman who has prepared herself for what happens next. His hand reaches out. He tilts her head up, forcing her to look. Diana tries to retreat. She suggests they don't have to do this, but the Duke isn't listening anymore. Is he going to let her walk away? I want to. Herdin makes his move. He pulls her close, claiming what is his. But Diana is elsewhere. I can't let myself be fooled again. The flowers around them feel like a lie, because she knows this isn't love. Men can do this without feeling a thing. They don't need to care at all. She remembers a time when his gaze meant everything to her, but that version of her is long gone. Now, she's just waiting for the moment to end. Will she let him see her true face? I used to love the warmth of his arms. Back then, I believed this was what love was supposed to feel like. I fell for him in a heartbeat. But the past is dead. The light has faded into these cold shadows, and I won't be fooled by him again. His touch doesn't reach the person I am now. A sudden gasp escapes as he moves closer. But I can't endure anything he does. There is only one reason I am here. One reason I am spending this night in his bed. I need to see my child once more. If this is the price to find Aziel again, then I will pay it without a second thought. How far will she go to get her son back? My son, Aziel. I'll do this for as long as it takes. Every night spent here is for one person. I will endure his touch and stay in this bed until I get him back, even if the man holding me right now is the same one who might have killed me. Herdin looks down with those cold eyes. He is a husband who feels like a stranger, a man who could be my greatest enemy. But I've already made my choice. I'll play the part of the perfect wife. I'll give him whatever he wants, because in this game, only one of us is coming out alive. Can she survive sleeping with the enemy? 2 years before, everything fell apart. The winter air is biting and cold. Herdin is preparing for a long journey. The carriage is ready to take him away. But a voice breaks the silence. Herdin. Blair is standing in the falling snow. She is heavily pregnant, carrying their future. Herdin stops in his tracks immediately. What are you doing here, Blair? He looks at her with a frown. You shouldn't be overexerting yourself in your condition. Back then, he seemed to care. He sounded like a worried husband. But knowing the future, this warmth feels like a cruel joke. Was this the last time they were truly happy? 6 months. That's how long it's been since she last saw him. Blair heard he was heading to the capital. She hoped he would stop by the estate to see his wife, but Herdin just looks at her with total indifference. He wasn't planning on stopping at all. Desperation takes over. Herdin, could you give me an hour? She scales it back almost immediately. Even 30 minutes would be enough. She is begging for scraps of her husband's time. He finally relents. They sit together inside the carriage as the snow falls. The silence between them is heavy and suffocating. I had so much I wanted to tell him, but looking at him, my mind has gone completely blank. The man she loves is right there. So why does he feel 1,000 miles away? Blair is searching for anything to say. When will you be back in the capital? Harding doesn't even look at her. He isn't sure. He won't give her a specific date. She tries again, mentioning the letters she sent him. Letters he never bothered to answer. Suddenly, Blair gasps and grabs her stomach. The baby is active, kicking harder than usual. She tries to turn this into a moment. I think he knows his father is here. He's been keeping me awake all night. Harding's response is short and empty. I see. Blair takes a risk. She wants him to share this connection. Would you like to feel him? She waits for a sign of affection, a spark of interest, but Harding just turns his head away. No, I'm fine. He doesn't want to touch her. He doesn't want to know his son. The carriage is small, but the distance between them is infinite. How can a father be this heartless? The silence in the carriage is final. Harding doesn't care about the baby's tick. I see. That's his only response to his own child. He steps out into the freezing snow. The brief 30 minutes she begged for are already over. I'll be going. Then, he walks away without a single backward glance. He offers one last, polite, empty wish. I hope you have a safe delivery. He sounds like a stranger passing by, not a husband. Blair stands alone in the cold, clutching her stomach. She can't let him live like this. Wait, she calls out to his retreating back. Please, give the baby a name before you go. She isn't asking for love anymore. She just wants her child to have an identity. Will he even turn around to answer her? Harding actually stops. He doesn't look back, but he gives her the answer she needs. If it's a girl, name her Diana. If it's a boy, let's go with Aziel. He adds that she can choose something else if she doesn't like his suggestions. But Blair doesn't hesitate for a second. No, I like those names. She holds her stomach, a small smile appearing on her face. These names are more than just words. It's the first thing you've ever given him. To her, this is a precious gift. To him, it's just a final chore. Harding looks back one last time. His eyes are cold, showing no hint of regret or love. He turns away, leaving his wife and his unborn son behind in the snow. Is this really the last thing he'll ever give them? This is the man I call my husband, Duke Harding Domark. He isn't just a powerful noble. He's the continent's only blessed magic swordsman, a legendary hero who ended the Great War. His life is filled with light and glory. And then, there's me, Blair Domark, a princess of the Ardo Empire, the current duchess of this house. On paper, we are the perfect match, but the reality is much colder. The moment I became pregnant with our child, Harding didn't celebrate. He didn't even stay. He left for the main castle immediately. He chose his duties over his own family. I was left alone with a title and a growing life. He refused to acknowledge. How much longer can I play the part of the happy duchess? He says he's leaving to hunt down monsters. That's the official story, but I know better. It's nothing more than an excuse to stay as far away from me as possible. Our wedding day was a beautiful lie. It was purely political. The Domark family and the imperial line are bound by generations of deep-seated resentment. We didn't trade vows. We traded hostages. I know you must hate me, Harding. I've seen it in your eyes since the very beginning. But even with all that bitterness between us, I just wanted you to stay with me. Is a little bit of your time too much to ask for? I'm scared to be all alone here. But my fears didn't change a thing. Harding didn't return. Not even when our son Aziel was born. I had to face everything without him. 6 months passed before he finally showed up. But he didn't come back for his family. He brought a woman with him instead. She has dazzling silver hair and golden eyes. And the way he holds her hand, it's a look he never gave to me. Who is she to my husband? The peace in the mansion is officially over. A maid rushes in with urgent news. The Duke is finally home. His Grace will be arriving any second now. Diana doesn't hesitate. She tells little Aziel that his father is here. It's time to go out and meet him. But where does that leave the real Duchess? This is a moment, years in the making. Diana tells little Aziel it's finally time. He hasn't seen his father since he was in the womb. Mommy is just as excited as he is. But there's a dark cloud over this reunion. Harding has been gone for 6 long months. He didn't even show up when his son was born. He probably stayed away because he still resents me. Will this meeting change everything or make it worse? The long nights of crying are finally over. Diana has suffered enough in the shadows, but she can't keep hating him forever. Not when his carriage is finally at the door. Everything is different now. We have Aziel between us. He's a father now, and I'm a mother. That red string of fate is tied tight. Even now, I want a proper family, if only for the sake of our lovely child. But a proper family needs a proper wife. What does that mean for the current Duchess? Diana is betting everything on one simple fact. The boy looks exactly like his father. Once Herding sees him, he'll have to understand. He'll have to choose us. The air in the room suddenly feels heavy. This is the moment she's waited for. But the doors open to a total nightmare. Herding is finally back, but he's not alone. He's walking side by side with a mysterious woman, the silver-haired priestess, Mila. The servants are whispering. He's been gone a year, and he brings back someone else. Diana's perfect family plan just hit a wall. Who is this woman standing by his side? They arrived together in the same carriage. The rumors started before they even stepped out. Her name is Mila Elias. Herding introduces her like she's a war hero. She found his knights under attack in the north and saved them all. A priestess with incredible power. He's hired her as his personal assistant. A brilliant talent serving a powerful lord. That's the official story he wants everyone to believe. But the servants aren't buying it. They're already whispering about what's really happening behind closed doors. Mila isn't just visiting. She's moving into the mansion, and the servants are already taking sides. They see the way she looks at Herding. It's not just work. It's obvious she wants him. Herding never shows emotion. He's a man of stone. But even a stone can be worn down. Just look at them. Always together. Always in each other's space. It's only a matter of time. Besides, the staff thinks anyone is better than the current Duchess. To them, Blair is just the daughter of an enemy. Blair hears every word. Every whisper in the halls is like a knife. But she doesn't react. She stays perfectly still. Because in this house, showing your hurt is the same as admitting they're right. Summer fades into autumn. Then the winter chill settles over the estate. The seasons change, but the silence doesn't. Herding is always working. He's a ghost in his own home. He never comes looking for Diana anymore. She tried to reach him. She went to his door, hoping for a moment, but he wouldn't even let her inside. The effort was exhausting, so Diana finally stopped. She gave up on trying to fix them. But for Blair, this cold distance is actually a relief. There's one thing she's truly thankful for, and it's the only thing keeping her sane. Herding is cold to everyone, but there's one person he actually notices. His son, Aziel. It's just a faint interest, but it's all Diana has. She decides to bet everything on that one spark. Aziel's birthday is only 2 weeks away. It's the perfect excuse. Maybe, just maybe, he won't say no this time. She gathers her courage and makes a request. She wants them to go to the family villa, just the three of them, away from the world. She's prepared for rejection. She's prepared for silence. But then, he answers. He actually says yes. The office door is open. That's the first sign that something is wrong. Herding never leaves his door unlocked. Blair reaches out, hardly even thinking. She just wanted to see if he was inside. But the sight waiting for her in the shadows stops her cold. It's not just a meeting. It's not just work. Through the narrow gap, she sees them. Herding is holding her. Mila is wrapped tightly in his arms. The whispers in the halls weren't just gossip. The rumors weren't lies. Everything Blair feared is happening right in front of her. They aren't just close. They're lost in each other. Herding holds her like she's something precious. Mila whispers that this feels like a dream. She tells him that she loves him. And then, the words that shatter everything. Herding says it back. He tells Mila that he loves her too. Blair doesn't wait to hear anymore. She can't breathe in that hallway. She turns and runs. She flees into the dark, trying to escape the sound of his voice. But some things you can't unhear, and some betrayals you can't survive. The promise is broken before it even begins. A servant brings the news that Herding is delayed. He isn't coming for Aziel's first birthday. It will just be the two of them. A few days later, the celebration starts anyway. It's modest, but the room is filled with warmth. The servants gather around to offer their congratulations. There's delicious food and a mountain of gifts sent by the vessels. On the surface, everything looks perfect. The room is full, and the child is happy. But the one person who was supposed to be there is nowhere to be found. It was a perfect birthday, Aziel spent the day playing with ribbons, surrounded by gifts. But there's a shadow over the whole room. The child's father never showed up. Diana stands by the window, looking out at the empty road. The celebration is over, and he still isn't here. She pulls her son close, whispering how lovely he looked today. She tells him how precious he is. It's time for bed now. The lights go dim, and the house falls silent. Aziel drifts off to sleep, completely unaware that the most important guest never even started the journey. Aziel is still awake, making soft baby sounds in the quiet room. He has no idea what's missing. Diana sits by his side, staring out the window at the falling snow. The world outside is cold, and the house is empty. She asks him if he knew she was waiting for his father this entire time. She tells him it's his birthday, and that daddy will definitely be here before the day ends. She strokes his hair, wishing him sweet dreams as he finally drifts off. She keeps her voice steady, playing the part of the happy mother. But as she watches him, the truth settles in. Aziel doesn't know anything. He doesn't know the promise was a lie, and he doesn't know that his father never intended to come. The house is finally quiet, the lights are over, and the mask comes off. Diana stands alone in the dark hallway. She can't hold it together anymore. She sinks to the floor, the weight of the day finally crushing her. Aziel is at an age where he deserves nothing but love. Even if Herdin doesn't care for her, he shouldn't have neglected his own son. Not today, not on his first birthday. She stares into the dark, wondering why she ever loved a man so cold and indifferent. Every sacrifice, every moment of waiting, feels like a mistake. If she could only go back to the past, if she could just start all over again, if she could do it all over again, she wouldn't love him. She makes that promise to herself right now. But the silence is suddenly broken. A pair of boots stops right in front of her on the floor. She looks up, whispering his name. Herdin. He's finally home, but he didn't come to celebrate. A dark silhouette towers over her, and in his hand, a blade glints in the shadows. The man she loved is standing there with a knife. A sudden heavy thud breaks the midnight silence. Blair rushes toward the light, but her heart sinks. It's not Herdin. I can't scream. Aziel is in the room right next door. If I make a sound, he'll wake up. The hooded stranger is already stepping into the room. The killer stands there with a cold blade. This man, he can't find out that Aziel exists. If he sees him, everything is over. Someone, please, help me. I reach for the rope with everything I have. Someone, please, save my baby. The bells start ringing through the silent halls. A call is coming from the mistress's quarters. Lena stops to listen. Why would she call this late at night? Maybe she just can't sleep. But wait, that isn't a normal bell. That's the signal for an emergency. The bell keeps ringing, louder and louder. In the servants' quarters, the maids realize this is no accident. Blair is still pulling with everything she has, even with a blade buried in her back. The floor is stained a deep, dark red. She can't stop now. She has to make sure someone comes for Aziel. One last pull before the world goes completely dark. The blade is pulled back, dripping with blood. The alarm worked. Footsteps are thundering down the hallway. Lena is screaming for her just outside the door. The killer hears them. His time is up. Blair lies on the floor, watching the shadows move. She's losing everything, but she feels a strange relief. Thank God, Aziel isn't in this room. He didn't have to see his mother like this. But as the light fades, one thought remains. No, I can't die like this. My baby, he'll come looking for me. What will happen to him? My poor, sweet boy. The doors fly open. The guards are screaming. They finally found her. But it's too late. Mom still has so much she wanted to do, so much left to give. The world is blurring. The voices are fading. Goodbye, my sweet boy. The darkness is shattering. A giant clock explodes into 1,000 pieces. Time is ripping apart. Suddenly, the cold floor is a soft bed. The blade is gone. The blood is gone. Blair is alive. She bolts upright with only one thought. Aziel. She screams his name into the quiet room. Was it all a dream? Or has the nightmare only just begun? What is happening? Didn't I just die? Blair looks at her hands. They're smooth, clean, not a single drop of blood on them. She starts shouting for anyone to hear. Where is my child? The door opens. Lena walks in with a bright smile. She asks if Her Highness is finally awake. Blair doesn't care about the pleasantries. Lena, where is Aziel? The maid stops. She looks completely lost. Huh, Aziel. Blair's heart drops. Yes, Aziel. Is he safe? But Lena's face says it all. She has no idea who that is. Lena looks confused. Is Ezio that stray cat from the back garden? Blair's blood runs cold. Lena, stop joking. Where is my son? But the maid just stares. That's when the wrongness finally hits her. Blair looks up. This isn't her home. This isn't Holstein Villa. She's staring at the ceiling of the Imperial Palace. Why am I here? Lena watches her with growing concern. Your Highness, what are you talking about? Blair is back, but her son is gone. Lena keeps calling her, Your Highness. That title feels wrong. A son. Lena looks at her with total confusion. Your Highness, you aren't even married. Where would you get a son from? A ridiculous theory starts to take shape. Blair grips the sheets. Lena, how old am I? The maid sighs. Goodness, Your Highness, you're 20. You just had your coming-of-age ceremony 2 months ago. Blair's world stops. She isn't a mother. She isn't a wife. She's back at the start of the nightmare. It's true. I've gone back 3 years in time. The world looks perfect. The palace is glowing. Blair looks around at the familiar faces. Was it all just a horrible dream? Or did I die only to be forced to live this again? The memories feel too real to be fake. But in this moment, none of it exists. And the man who ruined me, I haven't even married Herding yet. But it's a world without my son. Ezio hasn't even been born yet. Blair, Blair. The voices finally break through the fog. If this isn't a dream, then the nightmare is real. Princess. Lena leans in close with a frantic whisper. Her Majesty is calling you. Blair snaps back to the present moment. She isn't alone. She's at a royal banquet. Blair holds her breath. She's back in the cage with the people who destroyed her. Across the table, the Empress Dowager is watching her. Katrina doesn't look happy. Blair, honestly, you've been completely out of it for a while. Beside her sits the Emperor. Ivan swirls his wine with a cold stare. Did something happen this morning? I'm sorry. I just had a very unsettling dream last night. Blair tries to play it off. She tries to act normal. But Ivan doesn't even look up from his plate. He's too busy carving into his steak. It's nothing much. We were just discussing your marriage to Duke Domark. That name, it's the name of the man who killed her. Ivan continues as if he's discussing the weather. Make sure you're prepared. The matter is already settled. He's already offered the right incentives. The Duke won't refuse. Blair can't even speak. Don't look so upset. Just because I didn't ask you first. Ivan's voice is like ice. You are a princess of this empire. I trust you won't say something childish about hating political marriages. To him, she's just a bargaining chip. The memories I'd forgotten come flooding back. This is the moment my life ended the first time. He's the best suitor you could ask for. Ivan makes it sound like he's doing her a favor. Women all over the empire are dying to meet him. Take this marriage as an honor. Blair, it's a business deal wrapped in a gift. No, I'm sorry, but I don't want this marriage. Blair's voice is quiet, but it cuts through the room. In the past, this was the moment I refused Herding. It was the first time I ever had the courage to rebel against them. I thought saying no would save me, but I'll do it. This time, everything is different. Since it is your wish, Your Majesty, I will follow it. The words feel like a death sentence, but she isn't the same girl who ran away. I've been thinking since the moment I woke up. Was everything I remember just a terrible dream, or am I dreaming now because I'm already dead? She can still feel the weight of the knife. She can still feel the life leaving her. No matter how much I look back, this isn't a dream. The blood was real. The betrayal was real. And if she wants to stay alive, she has to walk straight into the arms of her murderer. Ezio's voice, it's still calling for me. I can still feel his warmth as I held him close. His face is so clear in my mind. Everything about him is incredibly vivid. It feels like I could just reach out and touch him, which only makes this current moment feel more empty. The light of the memory fades away, and I'm left here, alone in the dark. My baby, he was my hope. He was my entire life. I lost everything once, and I'll walk through hell to make sure it never happens again. Even if I've miraculously returned to a past, this reality without Ezio is nothing but hell. The world is bright, but it's empty. Every second without him is a reminder of what I lost. So, for me living in this life, I finally have a reason why I must marry Herding. He is the man who ended my life, but he's also the only one who can give me my son back. To see Ezio again, I'll walk right back into the trap. I'd give up everything just to see Ezio again, even if it means reliving that miserable marriage. The loneliness was suffocating. But if that's the price, to hold him once more, then I've already decided. There is only one path left for me. I'm going back to where it all started. The trap is set. Lena, send a messenger to the Denmark Duchy. Tell them I want to meet tomorrow. If he's busy, find a date that works. Lena can't believe it. Meeting Duke Denmark. That's the last place anyone expected me to go. I asked her why. She looked so surprised. She didn't say a word and just hurried out. The message is gone. There's no turning back now. I'm walking right into the lion's den. Lena can't wrap her head around this sudden change. Just a few months ago, the princess wouldn't even look at the duke. She avoided him at banquets like he was a plague. Everyone knows the history. The imperial family and the Denmark Duchy don't just dislike each other. They are bitter rivals. Even the palace officials are losing their minds. The princess reaching out to the duke, it's unheard of. But the reason goes deeper than just a simple grudge. It all traces back to the late emperor. He had two women in his life, and that one secret is about to tear everything apart. On one side, you had Empress Esmeralda, the legal wife, the peak of power. But she had one glaring problem. Years went by without a single heir. That's why they brought Katrina into the palace. She wasn't royalty. She was just a concubine, a gypsy with no name and zero influence. She was only there for one specific reason. In a den of wolves, she had no protection. She was just a tool to produce a child. But a woman with nothing to lose is the most dangerous person in the room. Everything changed the moment Katrina gave birth to a son. She named him Ivan. Suddenly, the two had the ultimate leverage. People looking for power flocked to her side. The palace split in two. On one side, the empress. On the other, the woman who gave the emperor an heir. It wasn't just a rivalry. It was a political war that dragged everyone in. But through the chaos, Empress Esmeralda stayed silent. Even as the world crumbled around her, she held on to the one thing that still mattered. But in this game, silence is rarely enough to keep you safe. It was the strangest bond in the palace. Empress Esmeralda actually cherished little Blair. She loved the daughter of her greatest rival like she was her own. But that peace didn't last. A massive fire tore through the Empress's palace. In one single night, everything was reduced to ash. The Empress didn't make it out. She died in the flames. Blair was the only survivor, but the price was heavy. She was badly injured, and the trauma was too much. She woke up with no memory of the fire, no memory of the Empress, just a blank space where a mother figure used to be. But some secrets refused to stay buried in the rubble. The Emperor wanted justice. He launched an investigation to find out who tried to kill his daughter. But the truth they found was a total nightmare. Every piece of evidence pointed to one person, the deceased Empress, Esmeralda. Her family, the Denmarks, fought the results. They knew it was a setup, but their voices didn't matter. The woman who loved Blair was branded a criminal. She wasn't buried as royalty. She was buried as a traitor. A noble life ended in total disgrace. But while the past is written in stone, the present is finally knocking on the door. A message arrives for the Duke from the imperial family. But this isn't just a formal greeting. It turns out Harding has a secret connection. He is the only nephew of the late Empress Esmeralda, the same Empress accused of starting that deadly fire. To the servants watching, this whole situation is cruel. The imperial family is heartless for even suggesting this. Blair was the one who almost died that night. She was the direct victim of the Empress's alleged crime. Why would she ever agree to this marriage? Why marry the nephew of the woman who tried to destroy her? There's no way she would welcome this union. But somehow, she's walking right into it. On the surface, Blair looks perfectly calm. People even think she's in a good mood. But behind the palace walls, the truth is much uglier. The Emperor is playing a truly shameless game. Ruth can't believe the audacity of the throne. How could the Emperor even suggest this marriage? He's the same man who celebrated in public when the Denmark family lost everything. He watched them fall and raised a glass to it. Now he wants to use that same family to secure a royal union. It's not a marriage. It's a cold-blooded political calculation. And the person caught in the middle has the most to lose. Ruth can't stay quiet. He asks the Duke why he isn't furious. It's obvious what the Emperor is doing. Harding just returned as a celebrated war hero, and now the throne wants to swallow up all that new influence. This marriage is just a trap to steal everything Harding earned. But the Duke cuts him off instantly. One word is enough to silence the room. They've reached their destination, the princess's palace. Ruth realizes his mistake and quickly backs down. The political venting is over. They are no longer just talking about a trap. They are standing right at the entrance. To everyone else, Blair just hit the jackpot. She didn't have to lift a finger to land the Empire's most eligible bachelor. But inside the palace, the mood is different. Lena can't believe what she's hearing. Is the princess really going to meet Duke Domark? Blair knows why. Her mate is terrified. It makes perfect sense. In her past life, she spent every waking moment trying to avoid hurting. He was the one person she never wanted to see again. And now, she's the one walking toward him. Everything Blair does now is for one single goal. She has to make sure this marriage happens without a single mistake. The doors open, and there he is, the man she once tried so hard to avoid. She can't leave anything up to chance, not even the smallest possibility of failure. The game has officially begun, and Blair is making sure he becomes her husband whether he likes it or not. But today, she isn't running. She thanks the Duke for making the time to see her. Herdin shows his respect with a formal bow. He greets her as his princess. Herdin starts with the usual formalities, a kiss on the hand to play the part of the perfect groom. But Blair isn't interested in the act. She pulls away and cuts right through the fluff. She wants to talk about the proposal. Her brother made. There's no hesitation. She tells him directly that she has no intention of refusing. Herdin doesn't seem surprised by her answer. To him, she's just another royal pawn. He figures it's hard to say no when the emperor is the one giving the orders. He thinks she's obeying a command. He has no idea this was her plan all along. 1 year, that's all Blair wants. She's offering a deal with a very clear expiration date. She tells him to stay married for exactly 12 months. After that, she'll walk away and take all the blame for the divorce. She's making it easy. No messy feelings, no clinging, and definitely no talk of love. But she knows that isn't enough to move a man like Herdin, so she drops the real bait. If he agrees, she'll give him the one thing he's been hunting for, the truth behind the palace fire. From 10 years ago, she just handed him the key to his past. Now the question is, can he afford to say no? Blair just dropped a total bombshell. The room goes quiet as the weight of her words finally sinks in. Herdin doesn't move. For a second, it looks like she might have gone too far. But then, a smile starts to creep across his face. It's not a kind smile. It's the look of a man who just found a worthy opponent. He realizes now that the princess isn't just playing house. She's playing for keeps. The silence breaks with a sharp laugh. He's completely hooked. She found the one thing he couldn't turn down. The deal is done. But Blair might have just invited a monster into her life. 10 years ago, the Empress's palace burned to the ground. Blair knows that fire wasn't an accident. If Herdin accepts her proposal now, she'll help him uncover the truth behind that day. It's a dangerous bargaining chip, but Herdin doesn't look intimidated. He just smiles like he's been waiting for this. With what face? After all this time, he's clearly hiding more than she knows. Before the deals and the secrets, there was only a desperate plea. Young Blair begged Herdin for mercy. She insisted her aunt was innocent, trapped in a lie she couldn't escape. She wanted him to fix the injustice, to be the hero in a burning world. But when the questions started, everything went blank. I don't remember a single thing. If she truly forgot, what is she actually selling him? He called her a liar. Back then, her silence felt like a choice. She took her mother's side and left him with nothing but a sense of betrayal. For 10 long years, Herdin carried that weight. He never forgot the day she turned her back on him. Now, she's standing right in front of him, using that same tragedy as a bargaining chip. You kept your mouth shut for a decade, so with what nerve are you bringing this up now? He doesn't want her secrets anymore. He wants to know her real motive. Why are you trying to marry me now? For a princess, marriage isn't a dream. It's a legal get-out-of-jail-free card. The only way to leave the palace is to walk out as someone's wife. Herdin isn't buying it. If you just want to escape, why not find someone who will actually cherish and love you? Love, the word sounds foreign to her. She's seen enough to know better. I don't believe in things like that. She doesn't want a fairy tale. She doesn't need a hollow eternity. She's not looking for a husband. She's looking for an accomplice. She doesn't want a happily ever after. She wants a contract with a clear exit. A relationship where the beginning and end are set in stone. I'll take exactly as much as I give. She looks at Herding with total confidence. I thought you were the only one who could handle a deal this cold. She's betting on the man he became, but she's touching the boy he used to be. Back then, Herding had his own dreams. He wanted to leave the Imperial Palace the moment he became an adult. He wanted to see the wide world. He wanted to see the open sea. He wanted freedom. And now, she's offering him a way to finally get it. The silence finally breaks. Herding looks at her and gives his answer. I accept the proposal. Blair might think she won him over, but Herding is playing a much bigger game. He never planned on saying no to the Emperor, not because he wants a wife, but because he needs an army. His duchy is bleeding out under the lie of treason. The crown cut his forces in half to hold the north and stop the beasts. He needs those soldiers back. This marriage isn't about a union. It's a trade. Her freedom for his military power. He's moving his pieces into place, and the wedding is just the first move. But there's one more reason he's saying yes. He needs to dig into the truth of what happened on that day. He doesn't trust Blair's hidden motives, but he doesn't have to. If he can use the princess to uncover the past and then get a clean divorce, it's the perfect win. He's already planning the end of this marriage before it even begins. Herding stands up to take his leave. If you have nothing else to say, I'm going now. Blair watches him walk away, but she stops him one last time. Wait, by any chance? Herding pauses, waiting for her to finish the thought, but she pulls back. No, it's nothing. She lets him go, but the words she didn't say are the ones that matter most. Blair is holding back more than just words. Her hands are locked in a silent struggle. I feel the same way. She knows the man standing there now isn't the one with the answers. There's a question burning inside her, one she can't bring herself to ask. As Herding turns to walk away, the weight of the past fills the room. She looks at him, seeing the shadow of a memory that haunts her. The truth she's really looking for is much darker than a contract. Was it you, in that other life? Were you the one who killed me? It's the day before the big wedding, but Blair isn't getting ready. She's at a grave. She brings flowers to the late queen. I'm here, Your Majesty. For 10 years, she's been playing a dangerous game, pretending she didn't remember a thing. She wonders if the queen is angry. Why start looking for the truth now? The truth is, she was terrified when she was young. Memories were a curse. She knew that no matter what the truth revealed, the cost was too high to pay, because in the end, finding the truth meant losing a mother, and she wasn't ready to be an orphan twice. In her last life, Blair tried to face the truth. She did it all for Herding, but the weight of the past was too heavy. It didn't bring answers, it only destroyed her health, and after they were married, it only got worse. Herding didn't want her to remember anything. Are you really doing this now? He mocked her. After 10 years of looking away, do you actually feel guilty? He wanted her to stay quiet. Don't do anything. Just stay still. He wanted her to remain the same useless girl she had always been. But Blair knows better this time. Nothing changes just by avoiding it. The silence is what killed her the first time, and she isn't dying twice. Blair's time alone is cut short. A voice breaks the silence. Your Highness, the Empress Dowager is waiting for you. Lena can barely get the words out. She knows what that summons means, but Blair doesn't hesitate this time. The girl who hid in the shadows is gone. In this life, she's done running. She's going to face the truth head on. She's leaving the regrets of her past life behind. The path ahead is stained dark, but she's finally moving forward, and there is no turning back. Blair barely walks through the door before the world starts spinning. A sharp crack echoes in the room. Katrina didn't call her here to talk. She's reached her limit. How could you visit that woman on your wedding eve? To Katrina, the late queen isn't a mother figure. She's a murderer. That woman tried to kill you. Katrina screams the truth like a weapon. Your mother is me. I'm the one who gave you life. She demands loyalty through a slap to the face. Blair stands there, clutching her cheek, listening to a twisted lesson. You must become a woman who is truly loved, just like me. Katrina calls this love, but for Blair, it feels a lot more like a cage. Katrina brushes Blair's hair like she's grooming a prize pet. Think about the end of that woman who wasn't loved. She whispers poison into Blair's ear. Jealous, envious, what a pitiful and useless life. To Katrina, Esmeralda's death was just a failed competition. and Blair was raised to believe this was love. The control started when she was just a child. Strict diets, constant monitoring. She learned how to be loved by being perfect, but it wasn't just about her. If she failed, others paid the price. As long as I endure it, the maids won't be punished. She stayed thin, she stayed quiet, she stayed pretty, because if she was perfect, her mother would have no reason to hate her. But being beautiful didn't bring love. It only bought her a little bit of safety. Everyone loves me. That's what Katrina tells herself. She's the star of her own story. But Blair finally sees the lie. She learned what real love looks like the moment she held baby Asiel. If you truly love someone, you don't ignore your daughter just to favor your son. You don't watch your child eat and feel anything but pure joy. Blair stares at the plate in front of her. The yolk breaks, just like her illusions. Even if it hurts, she has to admit it now. Katrina's voice drifts back in, cold and calculating. Become a woman who is loved. But there's a catch to that motherly advice. You must be a great support for this family, for the empire your brother and I have built. Blair isn't a daughter to her. She's just a foundation stone for someone else's throne. The truth is out. Her mother never loved her. She only loved what Blair could do for her. Blair finally sees the strings. She's not a daughter. She's a doll, wrapped in ribbons and pearls. This thing directed toward me. It isn't love. She stands her ground. The silence breaks. Since when did you care for me so much, mother? The room goes cold. Even the maids can't hide their shock at her sudden defiance. Blair is done playing the part, but Katrina doesn't back down. Her face twists into something truly terrifying. She didn't stop because she cared. She stopped because of the wedding. It would be quite troublesome if the bride's face were scarred. To Katrina, Blair isn't a person. She's just a piece of art that shouldn't be damaged before the sale. Blair throws the words right back. If I meant to be a support for this family, I have to stay perfect, right? She doesn't say another word. The silence is her final answer. Katrina can't handle losing control. You're driving a nail into my heart, you insolent thing. The guilt trip doesn't work anymore. Blair just watches her walk away. It's time to move forward. The girl who obeyed out of fear is gone. She leaves the ignorant past behind her. Every step feels lighter than the last. It's a little bit heartbreaking, but at the same time, it's the most refreshing feeling she's ever known. She stands alone in the light. No more begging, no more hoping. This is it, the end of a terrible, one-sided love. She's finally done loving someone who never loved her back. The door is closed, and Blair is never looking back. A royal wedding in a frozen palace. But this isn't a fairy tale. Yvonne reminds Blair of her only job. A woman needs to bear a son. That is the only way to stay relevant. He thinks she is way too stiff. Forget being a lady behind closed doors. You need to be a seductress to be loved. Even their mother is watching. Katrina is not easily impressed, and her patience is running out. Blair leaves her past behind with a message. Tell mother not to worry. I will survive wherever I go. The doors open to a sea of light. To the crowd, she is an angel, a snow fairy descending from heaven. But the man waiting is like ice. Yvonne plays the part of the loving brother. He asks the Duke to cherish his sister, as if there was ever a choice. This isn't a marriage, it is an imperial order, and the contract has just begun. The priest declares the union official, a prayer for happiness that neither of them actually expects. Now comes the moment, the kiss of vows. Herding reaches out to lift the veil. The crowd was right. A snow fairy, a woman in white, who makes every rumor seem like an understatement. He thought the praise was just empty talk, but as he leans in to seal the deal, he realizes he was wrong. This isn't just a political contract, it is a masterpiece, and she is finally all his. The wedding is over, but the celebration is nowhere to be found. Ruth is buried under a mountain of endless paperwork. He is ready to call it a night. The Duke is a machine for handling all this every single day. Suddenly, the door swings wide open. Herding stands there, drenched in sweat. He looks like he just walked out of a nightmare. Ruth can't believe what he is seeing. Why are you here at this hour? Isn't tonight your wedding night? Herding walks in like it is just another Tuesday. Do I need a reason to be in my own office? He is clearly avoiding the bedroom. Ruth is stuck with his boss on the one night he should be gone, and the tension is just getting started. Ruth is losing it. A room in his office instead of the bedroom. The rumors will be absolutely wild by morning. But Harding doesn't care. He is already working like it is any other day. The man is a machine. Ruth asks the big question. What is the plan now? Harding drops a bombshell. Blair offered to help uncover the truth about 10 years ago. Ruth can't believe it, but Harding is skeptical. Is her memory loss real? Or is she just a very good actress with a hidden motive? Either way, he is staying right here. Ruth asks one last time. Are you really not going to the bedroom? But the Duke has already decided. The night is for work, not for her. Harding is still making excuses to stay away. She's probably exhausted. The schedule was brutal for a woman like her. Besides, this is just a contract. There is no need for wedding night rituals. But then he stops. The image of her under that veil won't leave his head. The silence in the room is suddenly too loud. He stands up. Ruth is confused. Are you actually going to her now? Harding has a look that says everything. I just got curious. What kind of face will that doll make when her husband shows up uninvited? He expects to find a sleeping bride, but Blair is awake, and she is busy with a pen of her own. The night is far from over. The door opens without a sound. Harding steps into the quiet room. She looks so tiny every time I see her, sitting there alone in the middle of this massive space. Outside, the snow is piling up. The air in here is sharp and chilly, and she fits this frozen scenery perfectly. He moves closer. I thought you would be asleep. Blair is startled. She had no idea he was even there. Duke Harding, since when were you? He doesn't let her finish the thought. Why are you so surprised? It is our wedding night, and the husband has finally arrived. Tonight is the night. Harding leans in close. Isn't it only natural for a husband and wife to be together? Blair doesn't flinch. I didn't think you would actually come. He sees right through her. Then why are you still awake, waiting for me all this time? She keeps her distance. I was only waiting, just in case. It would be rude to be asleep when you arrived. But the mood shifts. Harding notices the papers on her desk. What is this? Blair doesn't hesitate. It is a contract. Since this is a deal, everything should be put in writing. He picks it up. Clause number 1. Blair will cooperate to find the truth behind the palace fire. She isn't looking for a husband. She is looking for an ally. The terms are clear. 1 year, or until the truth behind the incident is finally revealed. Then comes clause 2. Both parties must respect each other as husband and wife. Meals together, attending events, keeping up appearances for the world to see. Blair watches him read. She realizes she went too far. I shouldn't have written this down. Without even knowing it, she was venting, pouring out the sorrow of being neglected in her past life. She just didn't want to be invisible again. Harding looks up from the paper. What happens if I don't follow these rules? Blair is stuck. She never thought about a penalty. There is nothing to stop a man like him. If you don't fulfill the terms, he steps closer. If I don't, the contract is signed, but the power is all his. Blair stands her ground. I won't give you an excuse for divorce. Harding just scoffs. Aha, is he laughing at me? She can't tell if it's her imagination. But then he reads the next part. If the other party wishes to share a bed, marital duties, twice a month. He stops. His hand taps the paper. I assume this sharing a bed means more than just holding hands. He leans in. His voice is a whisper. Are you offering to be the mistress who warms my bed? Don't speak like that. Blair snaps back. She didn't write this for his amusement. I need that time. The truth is far more desperate. She needs to conceive Azil, and time is running out. Blair tries to explain. I just wanted a good relationship, even if it's only during those times. Harding repeats her words. A good relationship. Hey. Suddenly, he moves. He pulls her close, trapping her in his space. Then I suppose I should fulfill my marital duties according to this clause. Right now, Blair is caught off guard. She never expected Harding to be the one to offer first. She tries to backtrack, but there is no absolute need for us to do this tonight. He doesn't listen. He pulls her in, his gaze locking onto hers. I want to right this moment. The contract was just a piece of paper, but this is real. His gaze locks in, cold, determined. There is no more room for negotiation. The atmosphere shifts. The room goes quiet. Only the sound of the contract being put into motion. He leans over her, taking control of the very terms she wrote down. Blair wanted a deal. She wanted a future, but in this moment, the past and future don't matter. The deal is sealed, and there is no turning back now.